these we're going to do next. Get them apart. Think of all things to do in upholstery, these top the list. Almost there. Here. They have this band that they folded over the top and wrapped. I've never been able to do that. So when I do mine, I just take the two ends, stitch them together, and then have a seam here. They come out looking pretty nice. This is really difficult. I think they have a special machine for making these things. You can reuse these if you want, little clips. Just take this off. You can see the guts here. It's already falling apart. Come on. Put this here. Just folds. Keep this as a template. Copy exactly what they've got. If you ever want to see the inside of a visor, there's what it is. It's just a metal. Down there. It's a metal rod with a metal rod inside. Piece of cardboard, like the hardboard. Two thin pieces of insulation foam, and then a thicker piece. That's it. But now we'll take this here, transfer this onto a piece of leather. I will make it an inch wider so I can fold edge over. You'll see what I mean when I'm doing it. You can pretty much replicate it since you've got a nice one to work off of. It's off here. There it is. All right. Next, we'll make the leather piece. Alright, I've gone through all my scraps for making the headliner, and I have one right here that'll work perfect for doing the visors. You get one right there, and get one right here. So there's two. Cut these out of here. Cut down to manageable size here. One. All right. All right, got to cut down more manageable here. Now, I'm going to take it and put it on here. And you do got to add to fold over, because on this, I won't have that, so I can fold it over the top of it. So, tape it so it does not move. Run around the edge here. Just run around, trace the edge here. You want it to match when you fold it over onto itself. You want it to match the other side. Very carefully go around the edge of it here. They're basically the same. What's different when it comes to the left and right is this little itty bitty flap right here. This one got tore off. This one's got to be here. But this is just to hide one of the pieces of cardboard. Here's the visor itself. That's the only difference that makes them left or right. Besides, I think the brackets are the same too. Oh, let's see, this one's twisted. We twist this over here. Yeah, the bracket's the same, so it's just that slit that makes it left or right. That makes it a little easier. All right, there's one. Let's see, that's on there. These little tail parts can make them longer, but then here, I'll usually go 3/4 of an inch, a little bit more, so they got that fold over. So there's one. This one here. Flip it this way. So one thing I found out about doing this stuff, if you're doing like the visor or seat back or seat bottom, you do them both at the same time, they come out good. When you try to do one full one and then like do one full seat and then do another full seat, they won't come out looking the same, because you already got it down with one, so it makes the second one easier. So you do the same piece, they just seem to come out better. At least they do for me. This line I'm putting on here right now is to fold it over. It's not what I'm going to cut on. All right. All right. And they both are. And that's all that makes it left or right, is that little line where it folds over that bar. It folds over this to cover that edge. So now, take it, and I'm going to go 3/4 of an inch. This one here is a ruler for doing blueprints. So it's got, this is a 3/4 inch scale. Instead of being 1 inch, because you'll see the one, it's not, this is 3/4. It's a 3/4 scale. The other side's a 3/8. They work better. for doing this. Otherwise, you got to use a tape measure or a ruler. You got to remember which one it is. So you do this one. Just go along, tap your lines. You got a place to cut. This doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to be folded inside. Just like that. Take it and cut it out. There's the one. Alright, now I've got a piece of foam cut out. It's thin foam. Same thickness as what the jute is from the original. And this is cut to basically the same size as what that is. So I want to take this, put a little mark just to give a guide. Because this is what's going to make my edge on my new visors when I fold it up over. So I want to take this, I'm going to glue it real lightly to the leather so it's not moving around on me while I'm trying to stitch it on there. Just some light. It's just a light contact glue, not the heavy duty stuff. That a minute, now take it and just stick it onto it. That glue will release. It won't be a permanent bond. So if there's any wrinkles or something you get in it, it'll come loose. So you can steam it out of there. So otherwise you're trying to hold it and everything's moving all around. Then we'll take the heavy duty trim glue and glue this piece around this edge so it stays on there. So when you fold it over to do the seam, your seam will be like that. That's the seam you'll end up with. Now we'll glue this on there. Almost ready. Start stitching them. Now I want to take and glue this edge down onto my piece of foam so I don't have to try to hold it. That's where it'll get away from you. So just run around the edge and put some glue on it. You don't want to try to hold it. Never had any luck trying to hold it. So let the glue do the work. Now just start rolling it onto it. Stay right on your foam edge. You don't want to smush it. Just right up to it. Take this here and snip these, go around that corner. When they get too close to the edge, I'm going to stay back. You get too close, you'll see the pad behind it. And once it's stuck to this foam, it's stuck. You cannot pull it back off. If you do, it'll rip the foam. It's just not bad to rip the foam on the inside because you're not going to see it, of course. But if you fold it off the front side, then you'd have to change the whole thing because there'd be a lump in your visor. It takes practice. I always screw up one every time I do. That's what it looks like right there. And what you do is you fold it over like this and you sew it together. There'll be a seam right down the center of it. And what helps, you take right here in the center where the bar goes, you figure out your dead center here, and just cut that foam, cut a piece of it out so it folds easier. Because you're trying to fold it this way, it wants to spring back on you. So if you cut out a little piece in the center there, it'll fold, it'll stay easier. Because the hard part is running it through the machine. That's where you screw up. Because you got the thickness of the hardboard that they use. Some are cardboard, some are hardboard. These are hardboard, so next I'll put a little line right here in the center of it, and I'll cut this little piece out so I'll be able to fold it. It's 14, so 7. 7. Here. And then go to your side to align a little bit. Just enough to cut the foam. You don't want to cut the leather. And take this little strip out. Now, stick that in there. It folds over easier. You can get your little sandwich together nicer. Take this, hammer it, see it stays. It's easier to work. Take a hammer and tap that. Relax it a little bit more. This little cut here, and one folds in, side, you got that piece there, it's ready to go, ready to be put back together. There. I don't know why that one keeps shutting off. Alright. Like that. Stick it in there. And that's it. Ready to go. Put this piece here out of there. There. Fold it over. And tuck that in. It's all put back together. Just tuck it in that hole. All right. There it is. Ready to go. Lined up in there. These are about the most difficult thing you'll ever stitch right here. When it comes to doing these things. Go very, very slow. Do it around the corners. I'll usually do it by hand. Twist the wheel. There it is. Not too bad. I said they're one of the most difficult things you'll ever do. They are not easy. I would take this one here, tuck this in that hole, just put a piece of scrap inside here, but it's got the little stainless clip that goes over the top, so it should cover that little spot. And this one here, tuck it in there too, and then it's got the stainless clip that goes on there. But that's it. There's your custom visor. One of them. We'll do the other one. See if I can get lucky and do both without screwing them up. All right, here we go on number 2. These industrial machines are very strong. Move it back, show you what I'm doing. As I'm stitching along on this, I'm holding my wheel. So I can control it a little better, because you step on the throttle pedal, because yep, it's got a throttle pedal. So you step on the throttle pedal and you drag your hand on the wheel. It gives a little more friction, makes it turn slower or faster by how much you hold it, just like holding a brake or something. That way you kind of are in control a little more. Get to the corner and not just do it by hand. Now, going straight away. There's number 2. Not bad. Didn't mess it up. Not too bad. Not perfectly straight, but these are tough. But at least they match the car now. They're not 100% perfect. I think the closest I've gotten so far is probably about 90% perfect on them, because they are tough. I usually screw up one every time, so I have to always redo one. But that's perfect. Not bad. Alright, there both are bar. Came out pretty good, pretty good. Now, taking tuck this end in there. That covers up that little spot. Take the little tiny clip, open it up a little bit. Come on, little guy. Quit fighting. And then this one here. Just fold it over that. Put it in there. The piece goes on there. I gotta open this one up too. There. There it is. All clipped back together. Ready to go back on. I think the best looking one, put it on the driver's side. And hopefully that door side is up, so it only shows when it's down. That's it. That's how to do a visor.